At 17, I made a pact with God, not understanding, not comprehending the gravity of what it is I was committing myself to. But God was faithful in the testing, He was faithful in the execution. And this one pact has shaped the woman that I am today. This is a place where I share my testimony about the goodness of God in my life with you, and also my knowledge of the things that I've learned in my journey and my walk with God, with the hope that it will encourage you and strengthen you in your own journey. When I was 17 years old, I was very desperate. I would say that I was very desperate to get into the university. So in that particular year, I failed to meet the cutoff mark. So, and I was very sad. It really hurt me a lot. So with that tears, with that brokenheartedness, I went to God and I told God, I said, God, you see what, you know what? I'm not going to involve myself in exam malpractice. I'm not going to cheat on my exams and stuff like that. In turn, for being a good girl, please help me get into the university. So that first year, after I made the pact with God, I resat the exam, but I still failed to make the cutoff mark. I was very disappointed. But somehow the grace of God was upon me. So He strengthened me that I did not give up on that promise. He filled me with His fear, kind of. It is fear actually, yeah. That I know that, okay, you've said this thing to God, so make sure you fulfill it, though, regardless of the fact that it didn't happen the year that you intended it to happen. So I went for the exam the second year. This should be my third time of writing the exam now. So I went for this exam. And that day, I was standing in the crowd with other students that came for the exam, waiting for the invigilators and the coordinators to come and sort us out into our different halls where we'll go and write the exam. So this tall, huge man walked up to me in the crowd, where there are other children there, and he met me and said, "You, what's your name?" And I said, "Miriam." He said, "Miriam." He looked at me a split seconds and told me, "Success." And I said, "Thank you, sir." And he walked past me. So I went into the exam hall to write the exam. In front of me, they were selling the exam questions, the answers to exam questions. They were selling it in front of me, right there. And I had the money to buy it. It was like they were just in my face, Miriam, involve yourself. But somehow the grace of God was upon me and He gave me the strength to overcome that temptation. So I didn't involve myself in the exam malpractice. So when the exam results came out, lo and behold, yeah, I actually met the cutoff mark this time around. So I was going for the second phase of the examination. Prior to that, before I even filled the school that I wanted to go to, I asked God, I said, God, if it's your will, you understand, if you would just help me, the first school that I'm going to open right now from this jam bursary is the school that I'm going to pick. I will assume that this is the school that you want me to pick. God, pick a school for me. So I did this thing where I closed the book and I prayed and I opened the book. And the first school that popped out was Namdazikwe University. And that was the school that I picked. And I filled it against my uncle's wishes. My uncle that was raising me, I had to go for post UME to the Anambra State, a different state entirely from mine, all the way from Abia State. They were like, uncle was furious, like, now you want to go to Anambra? Who do you know in Anambra? What are we going to do about this? But somehow, God is always a provider. And when He starts a thing, He always finishes it. Somehow, there was this long family friend of ours, this long distance relationship of ours, kind of that we remembered I was living in Oka. He had a family house in Oka, so we contacted him. And somehow, somebody we haven't spoken to in years, somehow he picked up the call and he was responsive. And he said we can come stay with him. On the day that I was traveling to go and write this exam, while I was seated in the bus, in front of the car seat actually, this boy came with his younger brother and he saw me and he was like, "Hey, like, are you going to Oka for the post UME?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "Can my brother sit with you? He's also going for the post UME. So you guys can take care of each other." I was like, "Yeah, why not?" So I shifted and the guy sat next to me. So I saw that he was holding a book. It was this book he was holding. And I told him, "What are you holding?" He said, "It's past questions, post UME past questions." And before now, your girl has never. I didn't even know that there was something called Post-UME past question. All I knew was that there was jam past question, but I didn't know there was something like called Post-UME Post-UME past questions. I didn't know. So I sat down with this guy, and I took the book from him with his permission, of course. I read all through the journey. And when we got there, I gave him back his book. He took it from me, and and we said our goodbyes. And that guy, I never met him. I never saw him again till this day. I haven't. I didn't even. He just vanished. He just said, I don't know if he's an angel, but my mind tells me that guy could be an angel. Oh. I feel like he might be an angel of God. Who knows? Because God can be very dramatic sometimes because he needs you to know that he's in the story. Or else you think it's by your ability. No. I went into the examination to write this exam the next day. Lo and behold, 90% of the question in the exam hall was the verbatim, like the same thing that I read on my way. So I just, poured out everything that I could remember. At the end of the day, I had 85% over 100. So I got admitted into the university on merit. He didn't stop there at all. Sorry, my son is up, so the noise you're hearing. So he didn't stop there at all with me. So the first girl that I met in the university when I got there for clearance, that girl was who God positioned in my life. Sometimes you don't know, you know, what your purpose is. Sometimes you don't know why God placed people in your path. There's always a reason. And this is a typical example. So the first girl I met was the girl that he used to help me get settled. No, I found my roommate through that girl. No stress. I just spoke about it. She was like, she knows somebody who's looking for a roommate. And that was how I got to find my roommate. And we had a wonderful time in university. Like she was my roommate all through my stay in the university. And not just that, while I was in school, this friendship was tested a whole lot. It was tested, At some point, God even had to give me a dream about tolerance, that I should learn tolerance. I should learn to curb my anger, you know, because my anger is going to destroy things for me, or rather abort, or rather try to abort things that He has planned for me. And then when I woke up, I told my friends this dream, and they were always giving me different interpretations, but I knew what the message was because that's how God He speaks clearly. I knew what the interpretation was. The dream was telling me that I had a flaw. Yes, I was too hot tempered, and I needed to stop it and start practicing tolerance. I need to start practicing tolerance. So, and that was how I started practicing tolerance. Before I get angry, I try to breathe in, breathe out, remember the dream and stuff like that. I was actively doing it, and God gave me the patience. He gave me the patience and the tolerance and everything that I needed to sustain that relationship. And eventually, when we finished school, went to law school, we were called to bar and stuff like that. Then we went for what we call NYSC service here in Nigeria. If in Nigeria, you know what I'm talking about. So when I got to the place, I and my best friend at that point in time, we've gone our separate ways in different places at a time. So I was stranded. I needed a place to stay. I didn't know where to go to or what to do, that kind of a thing. So I didn't know what to do. So what I did was that I called her and I asked her if she knew somebody in the states where I was currently who could help me and stuff. I said, yeah, she knows somebody. And guess what? She introduced me to the man that is today my husband. So God is unchanging. Anyone who puts him first will definitely come out on top. So when you make a pact with God, know something, He will test you to search out your heart on that matter. And when you pass, He will fulfill your heart desires beyond your expectations. He has never changed. This has been how He has always been. And from my own testimony, by making that one small pact, asking Him that I want to get into the university, He fulfilled it because I was faithful to my promise. And even in the promise, I would have still failed if not His grace that kept me. He was the one that helped me be able to uphold and stay true to what I have promised that I would do. He gave me the grace. He sustained me in the season of testing, and He still came through and crowned me with the victory. And not just that, He went beyond me, gave me a good school, gave me good friends that stood by me, saw me through the challenges of school, which I will testify again in my next video. And He went ahead to perfect it by giving me my husband through this one journey. Everything about my adult life has been shaped: relationship, career, motherhood. Everything has been shaped by this one pact. He didn't just show up for me. He said, "Look at this child. I am God. What you're asking of me is nothing. But because you have trusted me with this little, I will do it this big." And that's what he has done. My life is a testimony, it's a testament of the goodness of God. My life is a testament of the faithfulness of God. To everyone who is trusting him for everything or for anything, keep trusting. Don't give up. Stay the course. You will definitely be victorious. If you have stayed with me this long, thank you very much for watching the video. So please like and subscribe to the video so you will encourage me in pushing out more videos out there and more people can hear my testimony and give glory to God on my behalf. Thank you very much. God bless you. Bye.